CQ, the old friends net. This is WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, calling CQ, the old friends net. This net meets 3 times weekly on this frequency. Tuesday mornings 9 a.m., Thursday mornings at 9 a.m., Sunday afternoons at 6 p.m. This net is conducted in the Amplitude Modulation mode, carried out in the old-fashioned round table format. So I'll take check-ins, we'll make a list, and we'll proceed based on the list. This net's a great place to look for parts and pieces, information, mainly having to do with vintage equipment. It's also a great place to maybe pick up or liquidate a piece of vintage gear. So anyone that is able to generate an AM signal is welcome to participate. So CQ, the old friends net. This is WA4LLR, and I'll stand by for call.
N4LQ, WB4ARK,
KZ4 Bravo,
WB4NKL, WB4NKM, K4GDN, K4KL,
W4MEC,
All right, let me tell you what I have. I have N4LQ, WB4ARK, KZ4B, WB4NKL, K3OS, WB4NKM, K4JAL, W4MEC. Who else?
George was in there.
Okay, I missed George. I'll put him after Charlie. K4GDN. Anyone else? Okay, real quickly through the list one more time. Steve, N4LQ. Buddy, WB4ARK. John, KZ4B. Cliff, WB4NKL. Gary, K3OS. Larry, WB4NKM. Jim, K4JAL. Charlie, W4MEC. George, K4GDN. Anyone else? Okay, nothing heard. We'll go ahead and get started. Good morning to everybody. It's 62 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy up here in the eastern part of Yancey County. We had 1.34 inches overnight of rain and quite a bit of lightning activity, but no damage that I know of. So the sun has come out and it looks really nice. The only problem is you could hear the grass grow. And based on the forecast, don't know if we get a chance to chop it down this week. And by the time the rain stops, it may be ready to bail, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, just looking at an update on my phone, we have a minor radio blackout of the R1 level, but I think we'll still be able to make it through that unless things increase. So Steve, down to you, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR, N4LQ, and the old friends net, running the Johnson Mobile transmitter this morning, and yeah, we got about half an inch of rain last night on top of the 3 inches we got over the weekend. So we're doing good here, and looks like maybe some more on the way. Looking out west, boy, oh boy, what a mess, especially up around Wisconsin, Indiana. They got a line of storms that it's just a real mess up that way. So go ahead and take it, buddy. WB4ARK, N4LQ. N4LQ, WB4ARK.
Okay, Steve. Well, everybody's signal is very strong today. The WWV is still not coming in on 10, 15, 20, 25 megahertz. And I think they were up a little bit yesterday, but they had dropped back down now. So that's not doing too good. The weather here is overcast. I wouldn't say heavily overcast, but very overcast. I don't think we have any rain to speak of at the time, and the wind is calm. We had 0.29 inches overnight, and I don't know if we're going to have any more today or not. They said probably up until noon we might have something, but it's pretty, I don't know, it doesn't look like it's going to produce anything right away, so we'll hope it'll dry up just a little bit. I did get the grass cut yesterday about 11 o'clock. It finally dried out a little bit, and we didn't have any rain yesterday until sometime late yesterday afternoon or into the night. So with that, we will send it on to KZ4B, sorry, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK and the group KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Buddy. Good copy. Like Buddy, we got our grass cut yesterday, which is a good thing because it really dumped here last night. I don't know how many inches, but it rained and rained and rained hard. Plus, we were able to get the last of our grass seed and fertilizer distributed yesterday, and so we are ready for the stuff to jump out of the ground. If we had not cut the grass yesterday, we'd been screwed because it's not going to happen today. It is quite nasty here at this QTH. So, that's the news from Lake Wobegon. Take it away, Cliff. WB4NKL and the group KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. About 60 degrees here, and we got an inch of rain overnight, which we were needing. That's the first, we got maybe a quarter inch there over the weekend. So 1 inch will help out. Ought to bring us back up to about normal rainfall, I think. And another chance of today. If I don't get the yard mowed sometime today, I'm going to be out of the pocket, out of the pocket here for 2 or 3 days. So I'll leave it up to the wife to mow, I guess. She says she don't mind it, so I guess it'll get mowed one way or the other. Running the Elmac AF67 here today, barefoot, about 40 watts, and band's pretty good shape. I didn't hear George, but maybe by the time he comes around, maybe conditions will improve. So go ahead, Gary. K3OS, WB4NKL.
All right, Cliff, good morning. WB4NKL, K3OS, and the group. Good morning to everybody. Long time since I've been here. Had some company. Come in from VE3 land. Nice to see them. They are gone and just kind of been busy wrapping up some stuff as well with got another couple of weeks of my volunteer work at school, and then that wraps up for the summer. So might be around a little. Hopefully we'll be around a little bit more than before. Yeah, the rain gauge here, I guess past couple of days where I'm over 3 inches of rain here on the western side of the state. So has not passed us by, and for those of you with animals, the cats went nuts last night. They hunkered down with the lightning. We had quite a lightning and thunderstorm show here for a few hours last night, and they were not too happy with that. Running the Kenwood twins into the amp, the solid state amp here, about 125 watts, I guess we're running this morning. So over to Larry, WB4NKM K3OS.
K3OS from WB4NKM. Okay, Gary. Good morning to everybody. This is Larry, WB4NKM from Wise, Virginia. And we've got 63 degrees. Looks like we've had rain like everybody else here yesterday and last night. Signals are good. I missed the over hill gang net, but glad to get in here on this one. So I'll send it back down to Jimmy, K4JAL, WB4NKM.
WB4NKM, K4JAL. Well, good morning, Larry. Missed you on the earlier net. Glad you made it in here. Buddy, you're talking about WWB. I can only get them with my antenna array on 15 megahertz. Wonder what's going on with them. They're supposed to be all those other frequencies, and they're not coming out. So maybe that's propagation. I don't know what the story is. I just noticed that Stormy Daniels is going to be appearing at the New York court review. I'd call it a review rather than a trial because it's PR entirely. I wonder if she'll be fully clothed. With that, I guess I ought to shut up and pass it on to Charlie, W4MEC, K4JAL.
Okay, Jimmy, K4JAL and the group, W4MEC. Well, good morning, everybody. It's about 61 here and overcast, and it's kind of bright out, but no thin clouds, I guess, but no sun, no blue sky. And boy, we got a storm last night. If you've ever been to Niagara Falls and heard that roar, that's what it sounded like on my roof. I couldn't believe how much water was coming down. But I went out and looked at the rain gauge, and it wasn't that full. And then I looked up and said, oh, that's the reason. I got this maple tree that has now fully bloomed out, and it's full of leaves, so and my darn rain gauge is under the tree. It was working fine when there wasn't any bright leaves on it. So anyway, I don't know how much we got, but anyway, made it back. It was a good plan. We came home yesterday from Sunset Beach area where George is, and had a nice drive back. Ran through a couple of storms, but my wife had met a couple of folks down there that decided to stay over one more day, and we were looking at the Myrtle Beach weather, and they were getting deluged. And they were in a pop-up camper too. So if you know anything about pop-ups, you don't want to close them up wet because of all that canvas you got to stuff in there. So, and you really can't put them up in a storm either. So it's got ideally hadn't been raining, and it gives the canvas some time to dry out a little bit before you fold it all up. So those poor folks from Quebec were treading water this morning, probably regretting the fact that they paid for an extra day. So anyway, but we made it out of there okay. You know, pull up the gangplank, I'm aboard kind of deal. So let's see if George is copying me. If not, someone please tell him it's his turn. K4GDN in the group, W4MEC.
George?
Yeah, I'm not copying anybody after KZ4B. Conditions really pretty bad. I'm just going to comment on this phenomenal K4GDN.
You coming in okay here, George, but I guess that's the way it goes. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, Okay. Did George make a transmission? I don't hear a ghost of a signal.
Yeah, he just said he didn't copy anybody, so I guess he's out of the list. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. Sorry we got that kind of band condition. Do we have any other check-ins? Come now.
WA4EVK.
All righty. WA4EVK. Go ahead and make one and give it back to me.
Oh, after last night, kind of glad to even be able to put a signal out. It got pretty rock and roll around here. I know I've got one antenna that's several feet lower than it's supposed to be. I haven't had a chance to get out there amongst them and see what's going on. I'll keep it short. And I think I'm going to tail in Charlie here, so I'll send it back up to you, Dave. W4LLR, WA4EVK.
Do we have any other check-ins? Come now. Okay. WA4EVK and the net, WA4LLR. All right. Copying everybody well except George. I even turned on the BFO and I could not detect a ghost of a carrier. So the band is not good in that direction. Well, let's see. Boone, you're sounding good. Charlie, I know what you mean about the Niagara Falls sound. I heard that several times last night. I've been afraid to go down and check the driveway. We may have had the Niagara Falls, which resulted in the Grand Canyon, but I hope not. Jimmy, yeah, the WWV propagation lately has not been good. So right now is not a good time to to check your antenna response on all those frequencies. And Larry, we missed you on the Over the Hill Gang net this morning. I guess you were sleeping in. I can't much blame you. It was a rainy morning. Gary, fine business on the coming to the end of the school year. And sorry that the cats were frightened by the storm. You know, this dog that we just acquired is the first dog I've ever had that Thunder didn't frighten. Every other dog I've ever seen, when it was Papa Thunder, man, it scooted for the house and wanted to get right under your feet. This one didn't even bat an eye when the thunder was popping. He just slept right on through it. So I don't know. I know he's not deaf, but I don't know what the deal is there. And Cliff, the AF-67 sounds good. The Pennsylvania trip, I know you're looking forward to getting back up to Kutztown. And John, yeah, we had lots of rain too, 1.34 inches. Steve, that the Johnson Mobile is continuing to do a good job. Speaking of poor band conditions, I was just looking at the updates, and we had a solar flare at 2:36 this morning, 3:36 this morning, 4:51 this morning, and 8:09 this morning. All of those were M class. They didn't get up to X, but they were still moderate flares. So that's one of the reasons we've got shaky band conditions. The sunspot number is 178. Solar flux index is 171. The K is 2. It may have gone up a little. Not optimum for 8 meters. A few things from this day in history. On this day in 1946, Sony Corporation began. This day in 1915, Germans sank the Lusitania. On this day in 1994, the English Tunnel opened for business. On this day in 1937, Lakehurst, New Jersey, the Hindenburg disaster took place. On this day in 1954, Roger Bannister ran his 4-minute mile. On this day in 1994, Paula Jones accused Bill Clinton of sexual harassment. On On this day in 1935, FDR created the WPA, the Works Progress Administration. And let's see. On this day in 1942, all American forces in the Philippines surrendered unconditionally. So that's a few things from this day in history. So Steve, back down to you. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Yeah, WA4LLR, N4LQ. I'm afraid this band is just about in history. The conditions are deteriorating. George was coming through okay, but Dave, you're starting to fade on me here quite a bit. And okay, on your dog that's not afraid of thunder. Well, that can change. I've seen animals start out that way, and as they get older, they start getting more and more afraid of things. Like our two little pups, they didn't used to bark at anybody, and now if a car goes by, they bark. So things change. But I'm not going to hold it because I don't think we got much longer if the band keeps going the way it is. Over to you, buddy. WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Okay, Steve. Well, your signal is still holding strong. Of course, you're not that far away. And Dave's signal was just as strong, no QSB. Sounded just like he did when he came on with the first part of the net. And George, I was copying your signal if you're listening. You were weak, but very copyable. And let's see what else. Well, we've had a good bit of rain here in the last 3 or 4 days, and the ground's pretty well saturated right now. I didn't know if I was going to get the mowing in yesterday or not, but it had not rained starting in the early morning hours and up until 11 o'clock. I needed to get it done because I didn't know what was going to happen in the afternoon, and I was supposed to go with my wife to have, she was having hearing aid upgrade, and so she wanted me to come with her. So we went towards Charlotte to Matthews, which is on the east side of Charlotte, and got that done. But we didn't get home until, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 4:20, something like that. But it had not rained up until that time, so I would have been good to go. But the ground wouldn't have dried out that much more. But anyway, we got that done. So I'm glad you got yours in, John. So we'll send it on over to you and get off here just in case the band's getting ready to go out. KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB, fine business, buddy. Good copy as usual. However, we could just barely hear George in there. We couldn't really. He was Q0. We could tell he was there, but that was about all. And so conditions are not good today. Speaking of pets, we've got a Chihuahua that cannot stand thunder, and she absolutely goes nuts until she can crawl under the cover in the bed. And so that's where she spent her time last night, because we had quite a bit of thunder, to say the least. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, I have a very cluttered 2-car garage that's more of a a storage area. Can't get the cars in there, so they're stuck under the carport. But we managed to set up a work desk and chair so that we can do some projects out there rather than trying to do stuff here in the house. And so we'll be out there today. We have got a SX100 that is very nice looking cosmetically that we picked up at the Raleigh Ham Fest, but they cut the power cord off. So that tells me it may be as bad as a blown transformer, but maybe I get lucky and it's something less disastrous. So that's what we're going to tackle today among some other things. Not a whole lot left to ramble on, and the band does seem to be going to cheese in a hurry. So over to you, Cliff, WB4NKL and the group KZ4B. Over.
KZ4B, WB4NKL. Well, I copied everybody except George. I couldn't even tell George was in there this time. So I guess the band's not the best shape, and I'm running low power today, 40 watts. So everybody might not be hearing me. Like Dave said, I'm getting ready to head to Kutztown, Pennsylvania tomorrow to the Antique Radio meet up there. And then next week heading up to Xenia to the Ham Fest. So it's going to be a busy couple of weeks here. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to those trips. So hopefully we'll not bring back too much stuff anymore. It's a success when I don't bring a load back. But enjoy looking. So send it on around while we got the band. Go ahead, Gary. K3OS, WB4NKL.
Cliff, WB4NKL. K3OS. Take it. Yeah, I'll keep it short and make this my 73 round. I heard George initially, when he checked in, and I was the one who relayed it, but or one of the guys who relayed it. But anyway, I didn't hear him. Didn't hear him at all. But everybody's up and down and not the usual strength. So everybody have a great day. Catch you later in the week here. WB4NKM, K3OS. Go ahead.
K3OS, WB4NKM. Okay, Gary. 73s. Have a good day. Yeah, it's the same here on this end. Everybody's still pretty good. I just barely did hear George up here. Usually I could copy him, but he was down in the mud where I couldn't understand what he said. And but everybody else's signal, I could tell, is a little weaker than normal. So I'll go ahead and say 73s on that too, and make this my last one. I'll be listening. I'll go in here and whip up some breakfast. Good to be in here this morning. Everybody have a safe day. John, on that grass cutting, just remember, everybody else's grass is growing the same. So I've got that looking at me too, but that's the way I'm going to start thinking, and it'll make me feel better anyway. So, down to you, Jimmy. K4JAL, WB4NKM.
WB4NKM, K4JAL. Well, have a good one, Larry. I never worry about grass. I never smoke the stuff. Anyway, David, you were talking about the WPA. I always thought that meant we piddle around. Of course, I could have that wrong. I'm going to say 7-3 also. Over to you, Charlie, W4MEC, K4JAL.
Okay, Jimmy, K4JAL on the group, W4MEC, real good. Well, I got a pretty fair copy on everybody. Did not hear George. I heard a carrier, no audio. I went and double-checked. He's probably dealing more with rain attenuation than anything else. He's getting rained on pretty good right now, and he's got some yellows and I think a spot of red in there. That's some heavy rain. It didn't show up any lightning strikes, though, but just a lot of rain. So he's probably getting signal being knocked down by all that water. So anyway, let's see, the animals in, we had a dog that was somewhat afraid of it, but the cats we have don't seem to be bothered by it. But we got one cat that ride on the vacuum cleaner, didn't mind it. But we've got a couple that for some reason, if you put a pile of Ingalls bags on the table, they will play on those things, they will play with those things, they will sleep on those things. But if you pick one up and shake it, they will run and hide. That's how we get rid of them when we don't want them around. We pick up an Ingalls bag and shake it, and they take off like 2 little bullets. But otherwise, they don't bother them. It's kind of odd. So animals are funny. So anyway, let's see. I noticed the grasses. I cut on Friday before I left, and the grass is already starting to show again. That was my first official cut, was Friday, because I'd taken out my other mower and had it raised up to the max and knocked all the tall grass down a couple of times in the high grass areas, but never really cut it. But on Friday I got out the real lawnmower and cut it like it's supposed to be. But it's already growing back, and I don't care how much rain you get. It seems like the Weather Bureau is still going to tell you you're in a drought. So, we could be backpedaling here in a rowboat in the front yard, and we'd still be in a drought. So, makes no sense. Let's see. Goes to Boone. I'm planning on being there tonight at 8 o'clock. If I don't fall asleep and I don't forget. But I didn't do either last week. But anyway. Or was it last week? I can't remember now. See, I can't even remember when I forget to remember. So, WA4EVK in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC in the group, WA4EVK. Well, I'm afraid it was me last week, Charlie. As I think I told you, Spartanburg, I was just sitting here at the bench, just had the volume turned down on everything, just cruising along, working on something. I'll be around tonight. I don't think I lost any of the 6-meter stuff outside, and I'm going to sign out of here. I'm not hearing anything beyond about 75 or 100 miles. Dave, all the guys that I usually have really good signals out of. The conditions of the band conditions have got everything so upside down that I'm not hearing many. So with that, I'm going to send it back. I'm not even sure whose deck control this morning, guys. Sorry. WA4EBK out.
Okay, Boone. WA4EVK, WA4LLR. Do we have any late check-ins that can hear us? Come now. Alrighty, well, 7-3 to Boone, and to George, to Jim, to Larry, and to Gary. So that leaves us with Steve, and Buddy, and John, and Cliff, and Charlie. And I checked, we did have another flare at 9:15. It was about an M2, well, actually 1.59, but close enough. And that added to the instability. But it's, what can you say? We're almost at Solomax. I think they're saying next year is supposed to be the peak. So we're probably going to have to fight tough band conditions for a little while longer. Anyway, let's see here. cats and angles bags, Charlie. We had a cat that if you opened an Ingalls bag and held it down, it would come and jump in. He was, boy, he was a character. He had more personality than anybody I've ever met, and I think it was a split personality. Part of the time he was sweet, and part of the time he was the spawn of the devil. He was something else. But some lady was visiting one day, and she came in, and she said, "Oh, what a beautiful cat." I said, "Would you like to have him?" And she said, "Oh, I'd love to." And I grabbed the bag and held it down. The cat came and jumped in it, and I handed it to her. And she said, "I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it." Oh, mercy. Let's see here. I don't think I've got much more. We'll do a 73 round for those remaining and that can hear. Yeah, my daughter just called and wanted to know if I had a long enough ladder to get up to her gutters. She had one that was stopped up, and she's worried about the next round of storms, so I guess that's where I'm heading as soon as I get off here, haul a ladder down to my daughter's house, see if we can get her gutter unstopped. But we'll go ahead and do a 73 round. Steve, if you're copying, down to you, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Yeah, Dave, your signal is better now than it was a while ago. WA4LLR, N4LQ. I just wondered if you ever let the cat out of the bag, or did he get out on his own? Our dogs are scared to death of plastic bags. You rattle a plastic bag around them and they're gone, man. They don't like those things. I'm not sure why, but if you set it down, if it's got something in it, they'll come over and sniff it, but not if it's being moved. Okay, well, 73s to everybody, good morning, and for those that can copy, turn it over to Buddy, WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Okay, Steve, your signal's still holding strong, and so is Dave's. Gary's signal was strong also. Boone's signal was weak but readable. And so I guess that's about it. Anyhow, I don't see any rain yet. Our concrete driveway that I can see, which is my neighbor's, from my window here, is a little damp looking, but there's no rain falling. And that's interesting about your cat, Dave. I hope you still have that cat. It sounds like it has a good personality. We have two cats, and both of them are a little afraid of thunder. They go to the back bedroom and get under the bed when any sharp thunder occurs. Well, we had some thunder last night, but they didn't move off the sofa or off the floor. They were content with it, so we didn't push anything. Well, I guess I'll say 73. And thanks, Dave, for doing the net. Appreciate that. And so we'll turn it over to John, KZ4B, WB4ARK.
Okay, WB4ARK and the group KZ4B. Fine business, buddy. Good copy. I believe, as Steve said, that the band conditions are better now than they were earlier, at least for the short, close-in stations. That's all we've got. Thanks for calling the net, Dave, and everybody have a great week. Stay dry, and good luck with the grass. So, let's see. It goes to, if Cliff is still in here, WB4, and he may not be, in which case, Gary, you pick it up. WB4NKL and the group KZ4B clear.
Yeah, KZ4B, it's WB4NKL. Still copying everybody pretty good here, so maybe the band is took a turnaround. 73s and enjoyed it, and thanks for calling it, Dave. And I think you said Gary was out, so I guess it goes on to Charlie. W4 MEC, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, W4NKL and group W4MEC. Yeah, your 40 watts is sounding just fine here, no problem. And Steve, I forgot to mention this. Let's see, I think your signal sounded perfectly 100% fine, but when you called for George, you had a hum on the signal. And, but then when you came back and transmitted normally, there wasn't any hum, so I don't know what clicked when you when you gave that little blurb for George, but it hummed up a little bit. So anyway, y'all have a good rest of the day here, and try and stay dry. And the rain here, I looked at it, and it was coming down so hard, the water wasn't even going in the gutters. It was flying off the roof and going over the sides. It was pretty bad. So anyway, but okay, well, we'll look for people on Thursday, and good on the show Thursday, so we'll see how we do then. 7-3 all, good to talk to you this morning, and I know Boone took off, so I'll send it back to Dave. WA4LLR, W4MEC.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for suffering through these adverse band conditions. And I hope, Charlie, that things are much better on Thursday. So everybody have a good one. Stay dry. Dodge the lightning bolts. 7-3, God bless, and Lord willing, we'll see you in a couple of days. This is WA4LLR in Burnsville, closing this session of the Old Friends Net.